Nikola Tesla was born sometime between July 9th and July 10th around midnight in 1856 during a catastrophic lightning storm in Smiljan, Croatia. Family legend has it that the midwife threw her hands in the air midway through the birth and declared that the lightning was a curse, which makes one wonder, was Nikola destined for electrical preeminence? Could he have actually been a prophet? In this video, we will be taking a look at the life of this legend and figure out exactly how he completely revolutionized the world, and realize that without him, the world would potentially be absent of wireless technology. He was undoubtedly an eccentric kid. He also had a brother who was possessed of extraordinary intelligence. But unfortunately, when Tesla was 5 years old, his brother Dame was killed in a riding accident by their Arabian horse, which caused Tesla's father to develop a fair bit of resentment towards little Tesla, which caused him to constantly live in the shadow of his brother. His father constantly undermined his achievements throughout his early life. It is also said that his mother is descended from the oldest family in the country, and was from a long line of inventors, which Nikola has attributed to his inventive nature. But he said that his father, too, certainly played a huge role in the development of his brain. Nikola's father would make him do all sorts of mental exercises from an early age. This included guessing one another's thoughts, repeating long sentences, performing mental calculations, and discovering the defects of some form or expression. I think it's fair to note that in college, Nikola showed that he could do integral calculus in his head, which prompted his teachers to assume that he was cheating. Now, I'm not indicating that his father was the reason Nikola's brain developed to such a degree, but certainly those exercises guided the development of a subsequent genius. It is also fair to note that Nikola said that in his later years, he had memorized whole books word for word. His father was also known for his prodigious memory, something that clearly got passed down to Nikola. It has been speculated that his IQ was anywhere between 160 and 310, which is certainly an ambiguous range, but nonetheless evidence of pure genius. Now, it has also been said by Nikola himself that he experienced excruciating visions of flashes of light as a young boy, and these peculiar mental excitations occurred until he was about 25 years old. It has in fact been stated by Tesla himself that he was able to diminish the effects of these horrible mental excitations by focusing his attention on internal stimuli. He said that when these visions occurred, that he would see the air filled with tongues of flame, accompanied by prodigious mental pain. It is also interesting to note that whenever Tesla got an idea, he said that this uncomfortable luminous phenomena would occur, seeing a wide array of colors and incessantly moving parts. Now that makes us question, was Nikola Tesla an actual prophet? Or was he just crazy and completely out of his mind? I guess we will never truly know, but it's undeniable that he was a complete genius and completely ahead of his time. Taking into account that he is the actual godfather of almost all of the technologies that we use today. Without Nikola Tesla, you could kiss the majority of technology goodbye. No more computers, smartphones, wireless technology, and let's not forget alternating current. It is clear to me that Nikola Tesla shaped the modern world, and he has been shoved aside and forgotten about, mainly because Thomas Edison is a thief, but more about that later. Now let's talk about Nikola's first efforts and inventions. Let's take it back all the way to his childhood. He was definitely a curious little boy, and was certainly possessed with an inventive spirit. He used to take his grandfather's clocks apart and attempt to reassemble them, which he admitted he didn't usually succeed in the latter as well as in the former. He then moved on to making his own pop guns and making swords out of couches. He did all of this by the age of 6, but it was when he was just 11 years old that he became obsessively interested in producing continuous motion through steady air pressure. This desire was ignited by an incident in his town where he fixed a fire hose on a fire truck with absolutely no prior knowledge. That event made him particularly interested in the possibilities of a vacuum, but it was in college where he made his first bold claim, one that would set him apart entirely from anyone before him. They received a Graham dynamo from Paris at his university, and it had some issues. But Tesla claimed that he could invent a motor devoid of these fundamental problems, which is the exact moment when Tesla postulated his theory for alternating current. His professor, Pascal, told him that he may accomplish great things, but he will certainly never accomplish this. He went on to say that it would be equivalent to converting a steadily pulling force like that of gravity into a rotary force. He claimed that it is a perpetual motion scheme, and an impossible idea. It took Tesla a very long time to eventually prove his professor's prior presumptions wrong, but one day, Tesla was walking through the city park reciting poetry, and it suddenly dawned on him. He said that the images he saw were wonderfully sharp and clear. Tesla had a proclivity to get visions when an idea was upon him. He drew with a stick in the ground the diagrams of his engine. He said to his friend walking with him, "You see my motor here? Watch me reverse it." It was absolutely revolutionary, and right there was the discovery of the rotating magnetic field. For a while, Tesla worked in the Central Telegraph Office for the Hungarian government. During this period of time, Tesla described designing all different types of motors that are now attributed to his name. He claimed that he did all of this in his head, and that he could work out any fault or insufficiency with just his imagination alone. This was certainly one of his idiosyncratic traits, hence why it is hard to argue whether or not he was an absolute genius. Because of his tremendous success in Hungary, he was offered a position in Paris. He gladly accepted. It was there where he got connected with some Americans, who were thoroughly impressed by his efficiency in billiards. And in 1883, he went off to Strasbourg, Germany, to work on defects at the lighting plant. It was here where he finally saw rotation affected by alternating currents of different phases, and without sliding contacts or commutators, as he had postulated the previous year. In 1884, Tesla decided to head off to America in hopes of improving Edison's machines. He sailed off to America, and when he arrived, he had but 4 cents in his pocket, a few of his poems, and calculations for a flying machine. Within a few weeks, he had won the confidence of Edison. The SS Oregon, the fastest passenger steamer at the time, had both of its lighting machines disabled, and its sailing was delayed. During that evening, Tesla recognized that the dynamos were in bad condition, but with the assistance of the crew, Tesla succeeded in putting them back into good shape. And at 5 o'clock in the morning on 5th Avenue, Tesla passed Batchelor and Edison and told them that he was coming from the Oregon and just repaired it. It was then when Edison said, "Batchelor, this is a damn good man." Tesla only worked for Edison for about 6 months. He had received enough investor cash to start up his own company in Rothway, New Jersey. And in 1886, his system for arc lighting was perfected and adopted for factory and municipal lighting. And in 1887, the Tesla Electric Company was organized. It was there where he built the motors that he previously conceived in his head. And in 1888, an arrangement with the Westinghouse Company was made to manufacture motors. But there were issues because Tesla's system was based on low-frequency currents, and the Westinghouse experts had adopted 133 cycles with the object of securing advantages in the transformation. In 1889, he went back to New York to start to design high-frequency machines. He experienced a lot of complications in doing this, and it required a lot of experimentation. And in 1891, he announced the invention of the Tesla coil. There was a lot of pushback with Tesla's alternating current due to the fact that so much money was already being spent on traditional engines, and in consequence, in 1892, he went back to America to work on the magnifying transmitter. There he built a laboratory and began his work. But in 1895, his laboratory burnt down and he had to rebuild. But in 1898, he got back to work and reached tensions of 4 million volts with the magnifying transmitter. Now 1899, Tesla went off to Colorado to further his experiments. He needed to be outside to make sufficient advancements. Realizing that 100 million volts were realistically possible, so he remained in Colorado for more than a year, where he made significant improvements and refinements which made it possible to generate currents of any tension that may be desired. Tesla goes into further detail in an article he wrote in 1900 for the Century magazine called the problem of increasing human energy. In 1900, upon Tesla's arrival back in New York, he proposed his world system, a system he said was going to completely revolutionize the world. It consisted of the Tesla transformer, the magnifying transmitter, the Tesla wireless system, the art of individualization, and terrestrial stationary waves. With the implementation of this world system, the power that would be made could achieve electrical activity up to 10 million horsepower, and it would achieve an immense number of technological achievements. The Wardenclyffe Tower was built on Long Island to demonstrate his world system of wireless transmission, but it was short-lived and destroyed. But Tesla does clarify in his autobiography that he doesn't blame JP Morgan for his failures, which is what most people tend to believe. Obviously today it's evident that his world system did not succeed. There just wasn't enough funds, and investors didn't see it as an opportunity to make money. If Tesla's world system was successful, there would be limitless, free, wireless energy for everybody on the planet. It would truly be a different world. Who knows what we could have achieved, or how much different the world would look today. Who knows? It could have been a much better world, or maybe worse. We really don't know. But I think it's fair to say that this genius has been pushed to the side and forgotten about throughout the course of history. Nikola Tesla is the true creator of the 21st century, and we have him to thank for the majority of the technologies we have today. And to answer the question, was Nikola Tesla a prophet? I guess we can't say, but I think it's evident that he achieved mastery like nobody else before him.